I'm hoping right now that my editing skills can make the video shake a little bit. Earthquake? No, we're not learning about earthquakes, but earthquakes help this next thing along. Or that too. So, Yuri's wind and water well sorted. We're back here. The UG side of things. Gravity is the dominant agent of erosion. Usually that's called... Yuri, what are you doing? Trying to eat this thing? It's called either mass wasting or mass movement. Word that describes Yuri on here. No, not that one, Yuri. Landslide. You're always trying to fall off my shoulder. So, I'm going to show you a few of the pictures. Mass movement, mass wasting. The short story is everything is kind of moving at once. It doesn't sort things out by size or shape. It doesn't make things, there's not much abrasion. It doesn't make rounded particles. And there's something else I'm forgetting to say. Oh, the start of the video. Rain or earthquakes are kind of two of the triggers that you just got to get something moving and then it'll just flow downhill. Pretty short video, to the point. So, here we go with some mass wasting, mass movement. You don't have to memorize all these things. You just be able to recognize when you see them, okay? My favorite one is this one. This shows up a lot. This is just really cool because it happens so slow. So this one called creep. They're going to show things like a telephone pole kind of tilting downhill. They're going to show trees growing a little bit crooked or fences starting to tip over, these different things. So that shows up a lot. But the other ones can show up. They like to throw a picture on there once in a while, but it's all going to be the same thing. It's all unsorted, it's all angular, and it's a gravity. Gravity's the main agent of erosion there. UG. And I really like this diagram here too. This is pretty cool. When you have weaker rocks underneath harder rocks, the hard rock will kind of just crack and the weak rock gives way. And this is another example of a mass movement. So when gravity is causing it, gravity causes everything, but kind of gravity on its own. Now, don't forget that there's triggers for these things. If you have rain, if you have an earthquake, those will weaken the rock and kind of be a trigger, but it's a gravity, it's a mass movement. Everything's moving at once. There's no sorting happening at all. Another one that showed some more of those pictures, and again, you don't have to memorize the pictures, you just need to be able to recognize the pictures. So these names almost never have to come out of your mouth. Your eyes are the ones that have to just recognize what they are. So we'd pick a mass movement there. All right, Yuri, time to go to the beach. It's a beach day. Looks like it outside. www.ug, one more time. So we're back to water. There's different types of water. This one, it's not as common, especially not in upstate New York, but more the Long Island area, wave erosion. So I didn't draw any pictures. It's kind of tough to draw a couple of these things. So I'm going to show you a few diagrams drawn by someone better than Yuri's art skills there, but they're always going to be really well sorted and really rounded particles. Longshore drift is kind of the one topic. Maybe barrier island. Let's write that one down there too. I'm sure I put it on the side already. But knowing those two features, wave erosion, maybe you're going to see a question or two. Once in a while, longshore drift gets a little action on the test, but that's about it. Let's go to the beach, build some sandcastles, watch the waves knock them down. Wind is what makes waves, but yeah. Cheers. All right, here we have some wave erosion stuff. So you've got, this is the longshore drift, really is what this shows. And you've got the wind coming this way. Wind would probably be coming at an angle. Man, really hard to draw with a trackpad here, but the wind's coming somewhat this way and making a current going that way. And so you're going to get erosion here, and you're going to get some deposition right there. This is all going to get filled in. Okay, they build these groin structures to try to stop it. The problem is you're going to start to increase erosion back here. And so all that's going to start to get eroded away and worn down and move along the coast, longshore drift. I didn't add picture of a barrier island in here. Maybe I'll do something after, but just so we know, there's other features that show up if this was not a longshore drift diagram. When you get long islands that go along the coast, those are barrier islands. Those are also wind features. So for this question here, groin structure is going to make it wider on the east side and narrower on the west side. So I would go with this one here.
Hello?
I did think I must have a barrier up or something, a barrier to, yeah, I did forget something. You get the joke, Yuri? You get it? Barrier. I forgot barrier islands. So I need to show you 3 pictures of barrier islands, old questions of that. They probably show up, you know, that and longshore drift. They're the only things with waves that show up a lot. So here we go. Okay, here is some barrier island stuff. You see, they all pretty much look similar. They're long, thin islands that go parallel to the coast. So that's a barrier island. You got another one here, another one there. The waves deposit these, so they're super well sorted, very rounded particles. Usually they're made of sand, so they're pretty straightforward questions when you get them. They're sometimes you have to identify or describe the sediment, but most of the time you're just identifying the feature. And you can kind of see a pattern with these questions. They're throwing a bunch of different erosion and deposition features. You need to be able to identify or at least recognize all of them, but usually come up with the name on your own. So A, that's a delta, that's a river feature. And we talk about that fan-shaped deposit that usually looks something like, you know, fan shape like that. You can kind of see it there. This isn't quite as much of a fan shape. And this is the barrier island here, you know, very similar picture as before. So you see that I would go with A is delta and B is barrier island. Island arc, that's a plate tectonics thing that we will see in a few videos or so later. Another barrier island, I think that might be the exact, let's go back. I think that's the same picture. Is it the same picture? It might be the exact same I think that's the exact same picture. So they don't really reuse pictures too often. Or they do reuse pictures quite a bit. They don't come up with new stuff too often. I'm not super surprised to see that. There's another barrier island, not too much to it. But you see drumlin, floodplain, they throw all of these same erosion and deposition features out there quite a bit. So make sure you know them and you can identify them and describe. You know, this one would be well sorted, www.ugg.